Welcome back. The European economic activity has hit a new low. The headline IHS market composite PMI for Eurozone has collapsed from 51.6 in February to an all-time low of 29.7 in March. This is a below a flash estimate of 31.4 and is the largest single month drop since the index, the IHS market, began in 1998. As you well know, anything which is below 50 represents a contraction in economic activity. This has sent warning bells ringing in the Eurozone, and therefore you find that many of the European indices are sharply lower today. IHS market chief executive Chris Williamson said that the data indicates that the Eurozone economy is already contracting at a rate approaching 10%, according to Reuters, and worse is yet to come. The Italian, Spanish and French service sectors have all recorded the deepest recession on record in March, while the German services firms have laid off employees at the fastest rate in almost 23 years. This is very grim economic data coming out of the Eurozone and is definitely impacting them. Coronavirus cases increasing in Italy, Spain and Germany. One thing which has been very weird about Germany is that although the number of cases are, say, about 89,000, Italy and Spain are a little over a lakh. However, Germany, the mortality rate is much lower than Italy and Spain. There are many reasons for the same. In the case of Germany, many young people were infected in the early stage of the coronavirus pandemic spread. That was one of the reasons. Second reason being that the Christian Democrats had completely rehauled many of the hospitals and made them state of the art. As a result, the impact was not as much in Germany. They were well equipped with ventilators, with ICUs, and they were much more prepared to be able to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Now, this is a lesson for many other Eurozone countries as well as for many other countries of the world, including the United States of America. The NHS has created a brand new, or rather has converted a conference center into a brand new hospital just for COVID-19 patients. And this is called NHS Nightingale, and is an example of how countries can fight the pandemic by creating facilities overnight. It's an excellent example. So, however, they will be admitting patients who have been declared having infected in other NHS hospitals. Only they can come to the NHS Nightingale Hospital. US payrolls have plunged 7,01,000 in March amidst the start of a job market collapse. The figures were over 6 lakhs for the week ended March 27. Now, this is for the whole month of March, and therefore this indicates that pretty grim scenario for the United States. The Dow futures were in a little bit of a positive territory before this report came, and after this report has gone back into negative territory. However, the fall in the Dow futures has been limited by the rise in the oil prices. Oil have risen by another 14% today. Oil had risen over 24% today on report that President Trump has been able to convince Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Al Salman, to have a conversation with Vladimir Putin and to effect the cut in oil production by almost 10 lakh barrels, and that had led to a rise in oil prices. Initially it rose by over 44%, but by the end of trading yesterday closed at over 21% rise. So the rise in oil is important because then you have fewer cuts in jobs in the energy sector. Otherwise we could have seen much more cut if the precipitous decline in oil prices had continued. Yet one should bear in mind that although President Trump has requested Vladimir Putin and the Crown Saudi Prince to sit down and converse as regards production cuts, there is a very much little hope that United States will itself cut production, the shale gas production, and therefore you will find only a cut which is bilateral between OPEC and non-OPEC allies, but this excludes United States. Therefore, the cut will not be deep. Besides, I personally believe, as per my analysis, that the demand destruction that is taking place will be far in excess of the supply cut, and therefore the respite that you're seeing in oil prices will not be here to stay. Pakistan has allocated 80 acres of land to build a graveyard that is near Karachi, in a place called Kazakhstan. That's really surprising. Even before trying to treat its people who may be impacted, they have instead gone ahead and they are starting to build burial facilities. Extremely disappointing on the part of a country. I think that this is a country which has got a better leadership now. Oxford educated Mr. Khan should be taking more steps to come forward. This is you go backwards when you start building a place for burial. First, you should be focusing on building hospitals, building places to treat people, rather than focus on their final burial. So, very difficult situation. In India, you find that many of these travel companies, OYO, the tremendous OYO have run into trouble. They were promising to their various partners, the hotel partners, that you will get a fixed revenue every month. Now, because of the dramatic decline in the people's traveling and the lockdown conditions that are being witnessing, as you know, the country is in 21 days continuous lockdown, as announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's difficult for people to travel from one place to another or go and stay in a hotel. So therefore, OYO is unable to meet its commitments and has invoked force majeure. That means it's being an act of God, and it will not be able to fulfill its commitment. Well, I have not seen the contract, but this seems to be very much hitting the nature of the business, and many of the travel partners are now contesting this. My personal impression is that even if they are able to escape that the force majeure was not a part of the contract, but probably I think force majeure is a part of the contract in any decent commercial contract. But even imagine it was not, it would strain the relationships between the partners and could impact the business of OYO quite dramatically. Similarly, to travel companies, you have Uber and Ola moving from one place to another. Just bring in an Uber and presto, you're on your way. These have been dramatically impacted because they have certain fixed agreements with their employees. Now, how are they going to be able to manage to service their employees? There was a fixed remuneration that they had offered. If the country, like in India and many other parts of the world, are going to have a continuous lockdown conditions, the people are not traveling anymore. So not only are the airlines getting impacted, but these travel companies are also getting impacted. Dow Jones could be very soft once again. Now, I have repeated that a temporary bottom is in place. Time and again I have been asked it, when do you think a reasonably good revival and how long will it last? Well, in my opinion, I think you will see a good amount of revival from Wednesday next week, and 14th onwards you will see a further rise, and 14th of April a decent rise so immediately after Easter Sunday, I think you should start seeing more green than red, and there should be some stability which should last till about at least 2 to 3 weeks. Reason being that the world stock markets are after all terribly oversold, and they need some breath of fresh air. Some positivity is bound to return. I'm sure listening to me and watching my videos gives you some positivity. Many people have commented that. By the way, many people have even asked that, can we forward your videos and can we put them in many WhatsApp groups? Well, please feel free. My intention is to reach as many people as possible. So if you would like to forward it or put it on any of these people who you on any WhatsApp group who you think could be benefited, feel free to do that. So in any event, I believe that few weeks of positive gains in world stock market indices is on the cards, and please take advantage. Therefore, do not be in a rush. When I said that a temporary bottom has been formed, does not mean that today was the bottom. I feel we are nearing, and that's it. So a few days from now, next week also, within Tuesday or Wednesday, you should start seeing a breath of fresh air, and 14th April onwards you will see more positivity. It should last for a few weeks at least. Take good advantage of it. People who are stuck with very difficult stocks should be able to get out. People who want to take fresh positions can also do so. Remember, this is still not the time to build a long-term portfolio. It's only a short-term escape for people, because worse is yet to come. Happy investing. Take care.